It is Thursday, February 17th, 2021. It's a balmy 26 degrees outside. Greenhouse is nice and toasty, up over 60. So I'm finishing up the elms and I'm doing my typical triage for all the mistakes I made throughout the course of the year. I'm sure you can see that giant bulge on the branch where the wire was left on too long. And down here I've got more wire scarring. This is a heavy duty wire, so I'm going to remove it the proper way by cutting it into links. Usually on lazy, and just unwind it and risk damaging the branches. I'm really comfortable with the branch placement on this tree. What I need to work on now is fixing the wire scar at the top and the ramification. So we'll figure out what branches need to run on for a little bit, what branches need to be put into restraints, for lack of a better phrase. Here I am being lazy with my unwiring. And I've got this back branch, or back-ish branch, not quite sure where I was going with it. So now that the tree is unwired, I look up here and I can see some kind of cocoon. I don't think it was spiders, it was probably some kind of moth. And now we got to clean it up. So the surface of the tree, surface roots, are kind of funky. I love that crazy curve. So now I'm gonna, this tree, that branch is pretty much the right thickness, so I don't think I need to do any more there. However, we need to work on some ramification, so we'll snip these back. My general rule is to go back 2/3 of what I want the finished length to be and let the tree bud out from behind those cuts. I think we have some dried out stuff here. No, that's healthy. Alright. So now if I look over here, that's brown and toasty. And we'll, generally speaking, anything that shoots straight up, I eliminate. Anything that shoots straight down on the foliage pads, I eliminate. Paying attention to the direction the buds are pointing, so I'll get growth in a direction and that I'm looking for, and I don't have to worry so much about wiring. Now I've got this back here which looks like it wants to be a back branch. I guess I need to determine if it is really in a good spot and if it is doing what I want. Unwiring trees. Okay. So let's take a look. If that is my front, I don't need that. I do like that, even though he is coming out at the same level as my number 1 branch. So I'm going to hold on to him for the time being. I think at some point I need to eliminate him in order to prevent too much bulging on the trunk. I work my way up the tree. Got another back branch here, which probably would be a good replacement for that one. Question is, do I want to make that decision now, or do I want to make it later? I'm going to make it now. Alright, this branch, much heavier than I need it to be right now, and longer. So I'm going to take him back. I'm going to make sure I maintain the leaf load on this one and not let him go too crazy. This one is just going to be a problem. I neglected him. Again, the vigor of the tree for this species is at the top, so that's the area that you have to stay on top of. Ha ha ha. And if you don't, you're going to end up with the same problems that I'm dealing with. Nice life that this is my biggest problem, right? Alright, so I think I can safely eliminate that. We'll keep him, but short. Not sure if he's going to be a long term. Alright, so that's dried out, that's dried out. That's dried out, that's dried out. That's dried out. So I don't need to keep anything that is dried out. Alright, so decision time. This is too thick. I got that little one to the side. This is way too tall. Take that back. Take that back. Take that back. And take him back. Alright, so I'm debating whether or not I want to replace this with the one above it, and when that might occur, I don't know. So now it's time to look at the roots. Not exactly pot bound, but we do have some roots doing laps around the container, so I think I can safely trim them up. Surprised how few weeds there are. I'm gonna be lazy. General rule of thumb, you can remove 30% of the roots at the right time of year and not stress your tree too much. Yes, all these actions stress the tree. Yes, you have to maximize your conditions for aftercare. So I equate it to having major surgery. The root hairs bring up your moisture and your nutrients. So if you think of them like your small intestine, you've just removed this plant's ability to bring up moisture and nutrients. So you need to baby it along. And the way you baby it along is you make sure that it's not subjected to extremes of cold, extremes of heat, extremes of sunlight. You don't give it any liquid fertilizer. And when you repot it, you use pre-moistened soil that is the same consistency as the soil you took the tree from. I would not want to put this in a gravel mix or an akadama mix, seeing as it's growing in a peat mix, because those moisture retention differences would be too much for me to keep up with, and probably not make the tree any happier. So I like to fluff up the roots a little bit. Hit with some Super Thrive. And then put it back in the same mix. So, layer of soil on the bottom of the container. A little bit of mound in the middle. Now this tree is almost begging for a larger container. I might have a 10-inch bulb pan, or I could go the 10-inch mum pot. I always find it fascinating that each manufacturer has their own definition of what 10 inches is. Kind of like men. Alright. So, bulb pan or mum pot? Bulb pan I like when I'm finishing up a tree. The mum pot I like when I'm bulking up a tree. So I'm really not looking to bulk this tree up any more than it already is. I'm really happy with the movement. I'm happy with the branch placement. So the only thing it's going to get in the immediate future is some Osmocote, and then I'll put it in a spot in the greenhouse where I have all the other mums, where I have all the other elms, where they're not subjected to freezing at night. Your goal is 50 degrees on the soil temperature to get the roots to move, and under 60 to keep the foliage from popping out. I'm already past that point now where it's 60 plus degrees in here, so she'll be okay. The question is, do I keep this one? Thinking not. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it. Can always cut out. It's tough to grow it back where you want. I'm not that good at grafting. So I tend to keep more branches around than I need in the long term, because I know I can always cut them out. So, yet another elm in progress. So this is where I'm supposed to say go like and subscribe and all that. So go do it if you feel like it. If not, go out and play with your trees.